Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Carnage Reviews. My name is Eric. Love is in the air. Well, it was in the air. Valentine's Day is over now. So, let's consider this video a belated Valentine's Day special edition movie review. Today's movie is kind of a love story. It does have two people in love with the same woman. One of them just happens to be a deranged serial killer who is just looking to get a little head. Today's movie is the French horror film High Tension. High Tension, aka Haute Tension, which is the French pronunciation, at least according to YouTube, which I probably still am butchering anyways, was my introduction into French horror films. When Lionsgate released this movie in the States, I remember convincing my parents to drive me and a friend 2 hours to see this movie because it wasn't playing in my shithole town. From what I remember, the theater was pretty packed, and people seemed to have had a good time with the movie. I liked it, and so did my friend. In other countries, the movie's known as Switchblade Romance, which is such a better title than High Tension. Does High Tension still hold up today? Let's find out. Before we get to that gooey goodness, and I'm talking about the blood and gore, you perverts, just a quick reminder to please consider subscribing to the channel. Just click that subscribe button along with the bell icon to be notified when I upload new content. High Tension was directed by Alexander Asia. And for the sake of me not wanting to butcher any more names, I'm going to show you each main character in the film, along with the name of the actor or actress who played them. Marie and Alex are best friends who are staying at Alex's parents' house in the country for the weekend to study. Everything seems fine at first until a man in a menacing-looking vehicle shows up and breaks in. He butchers the entire family and kidnaps Alex. Marie is able to hide while witnessing the events unfold. Marie goes after the killer and Alex in an attempt to rescue her friend, who she also happens to be secretly in love with. In my opinion, High Tension really elevated the extreme French horror film movement, as great French horror films such as Martyrs and Inside came after it. High Tension is probably the most prolific French horror film, as it was released theatrically in the United States, as opposed to Martyrs and Inside, which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that those films were only released direct to video. You know what I like the most about High Tension? Is how it has this late night movie vibe to it. Seriously, this feels like a movie I would have stumbled upon at like midnight or 2 o'clock in the morning on HBO or Showtime, or even USA Up All Night if you're old enough to know what that even was. So just to note that the version of the film I watched for this review is the uncut, non-English dubbed version. So when Lionsgate got the rights to this film and they released it theatrically, they dubbed the movie in English, which, from what I remember, all things considered, the dub wasn't terrible. And of course, they did cut the film to achieve an R rating. The version of the movie I watched was released by Second Sight in 4K. It's the original uncut version in French with English subtitles. Now, it has been quite some time since I've seen the R-rated version of High Tension, but from memory, at least from what I can remember, I feel like there's not a huge difference between the R-rated version and the uncut version, besides maybe a few quick cuts here and there that are in the R-rated version and not in the uncut version. I feel like maybe the uncut version probably lingers on the deaths just slightly more, but I don't feel like there was a huge difference. Without a doubt, the most intense sequence in the movie is when the killer breaks into the house and butchers each one of Alex's family members while Marie looks on. My favorite moment of that sequence is when Marie is hiding in the closet and the mother's getting killed. And just the way that the shots are positioned and the editing is so perfect and very intense. The blood splatter, the way it splatters on the door, and the positioning of the shot is very effective. My favorite part is towards the end of that sequence when the mother's dead and she's lying on the ground, her throat is slit, and the camera is positioned at a really cool angle. And then we can see the closet door opening, and we see Maria's feet just slowly stagger out, heading towards the body. It's just a very effective shot. Now, it's clear that the film's director, Alexander Asia, is a huge horror fan, and that really shows in High Tension. I just really want to know, why in the States did they not call it Razorblade Romance? That is such a better title than High Tension. I just don't get it. Speaking of razor blades, now I know that razor blades can be sharp, but are they really sharp enough to cut off a hand? High Tension is a slasher film that, well, does a really good job at being a slasher film. However, despite it being a gory and fun late night movie, High Tension really doesn't do much to add anything new to the table. Probably the most polarizing thing about High Tension is the film's ending. Now, when I saw the movie in theaters the first time and the movie ended, I really wasn't a fan of it then, and I'm still not really a fan of it now. It just seemed kind of tacked on, although there are things in the movie that kind of lead to the ending. It just felt forced to me. If you've seen the movie, though, let me know in the comments, preferably with a spoiler warning if you're going to reveal anything. But let me know in the comments what you think about the ending. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Let me know. Is High Tension worth watching? Yeah, I think so. If you're a fan of slasher movies, gore, or just really well executed horror films, yeah, I think you'll find something in High Tension to like. I mean, it is well made, even though it doesn't really bring anything new to the table. It's a very well made movie. It's well acted, well produced. And, while the ending is forced, I feel it doesn't really ruin the experience. It will probably make you question why they would have an ending like that, because I just felt like that maybe it was trying to be clever when it really didn't need to be clever. I think it would have been better if they just went maybe with a more straightforward approach, but that's just me. You know what's funny about this movie is that it's a French horror film, yet at times when I'm watching it, it really makes me think of Italian horror. I mean, that scene alone with the mother when she gets killed, the angles, the way it's shot, it comes off as a very Italian horror like, which is not a bad thing at all. In fact, what's even more funny, is that there's even a reference to J and B in the movie. And if you've seen any of Mike Bracken's videos on YouTube, aka the Horror Geek, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. With all that said, I give High Tension a solid 3 skulls. While it doesn't bring anything new to the slasher genre, it does have some decent gore, some really creative kills, and it's well made. Also, it has a pretty good soundtrack too. Thanks for checking out today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please tap that like button. What do you guys think about High Tension? Have you seen it? Let me know in the comments what you think of it. Also, do you guys like the title Razorblade Romance better like I do? Let me know. Until next time, my friends, if you see a French truck driver carrying a razor blade, get the hell out of there. Bye-bye, guys.